Breaking news. It's official. Jauan Jennings has signed his tender and he posted it to social media so we could see. He actually posted the actual contract in which he signed, which I'll pull up in a second. And I've never seen one of these before. So we get our first look at what a tender looks like and how you sign it. But this is obviously phenomenal news for the San Francisco 49ers. We knew this was going to be the case. He signed it. He's coming back. He's on a 1 year, about $5 million deal. And hey, the 49ers get their wide receiver 3 back in the fold. And this is good news, especially with obviously some of the things going on with some other wide receiver. But let's talk about Jauan Jennings and what he brings to the table. He's listed at 6'3", 212 pounds, 26 years old. He was a former 7th-round pick out of Tennessee. He had 19 receptions for 265 yards and 1 touchdown last season. Now, when you read the stats, you're like, well, he must not play a lot. Jauan is one of those guys in the Kyle Shanahan scheme that just is clutch. They call him third and Jauan for a reason. He moves the chains, and he just is always in the right spot at the right time. I mean, you're talking about a guy who had 19 receptions in the regular season and was on his way to damn near being the Super Bowl MVP. It's just like it's a guy with a ton of talent. But again, the 49ers aren't a pass-heavy offense. They have, one of the least amount of passing attempts for a total offense in the NFL last year. But they have high producers. They're just not high volume. And so that trickles down to guys like Jauan Jennings, who isn't going to see a ton of targets. He only saw 33 targets last year. He did play only in 13 games, which has something to do with the lack of production as well. But we know when Jauan's on the field, he's converting first downs, making tough plays, making things happen. And when the ball's in his hands, good things tend to go down. So I think this is a good move for the 49ers to be able to get a guy like this. Again, he's in the peak of his career right now, and he fits such a phenomenal role for the 49ers, even as a blocker. He is a dog in the blocking game. We talk a ton about Brandon Ayuk and what he brings in the blocking game. You got to say the same things about Jauan Jennings. Jauan is active. He's constantly pissing guys off because he plays to the whistle. And hey, he's a quality player for the San Francisco 49ers. Let's take a look at the tender that he posted to social media. You can see it right here. Try to blow it up a little bit. He obviously crossed out some personal information, but he says the above named player who has completed 3 accrued seasons, the club makes the following tender as checked below. For right of first refusal, the draft choice compensation, a 1-year contract offer of at least the amount required by the terms of the NFL collective bargaining agreement, or 110% of the prior year's paragraph 5 salary, which is greater for ROFR and draft choice compensation of 1 second-round selection. So I think that's them saying he was tendered with the second-round designation, meaning if a team was to come try to sign him to a deal and the 49ers opted not to match, the 49ers then get the second-round draft pick in return. It goes on to say, in any tender based on 110% of the paragraph 5 salary in the player's prior year contract, or any tender that permits the club to negotiate a ROFR, all other contract provisions for the prior year are included in the tender. Well, after reading that, I would definitely need an agent because none of that made a whole lot of sense to me. But there you go. It's the first time I've ever seen a tender signed and delivered. Not sealed, though. But also you could see at the top of that post, he had said, we on to year 4. For real, let's go. Ain't no stopping heart emoji. So shout out to Jauan Jennings, man, coming back for another year with the San Francisco 49ers. He was again, former 7th round draft pick out of Tennessee. He was a quarterback at Tennessee at one point until he switched to wide receiver. And then you just have the signing of Josh Dobbs to be the backup quarterback to Brock Purdy. And those two connected for one of the craziest plays in recent college football memory when Tennessee was playing against Georgia, both ranked teams at the time. And it came down to the final seconds. And Dobbs had to launch up a 50-yard Hail Mary at the final play, no time left, one shot to the end zone. And he just throws up a bomb, and guess who comes down with it to win the game? You see Jauan Jennings rise out of this crowd of Bulldogs, and he somehow snatches it, brings it down, collects the catch, scores a touchdown. Tennessee wins. You see Dobbs running around the field. You see Jauan Jennings running around. I mean, what a finish that was. And pretty cool that they're going to be teammates this year. And Dobbs is going to be throwing passes to Jauan Jennings again. So shout out to Jauan Jennings for getting the payday. I mean, hey, I would say as a former 7th round draft pick, getting $5 million, to play a very specialized role on a Super Bowl contending team. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And, if he could put up one more solid year, he can leverage that play into a decent contract. I guarantee you he would be someone that other teams would want to sign. So it'll be interesting, obviously, to see how the Ayuk situation plays out, because you would have to imagine if Brandon Ayuk gets paid by the 49ers, then at that time, then Jauan would become a free agent. The 49ers won't be able to pay 3 multi-year wide receivers an exorbitant amount of money. So at a certain point, you'd have to draw a line in that situation where Jauan would then likely become a free agent. But hey, you never know what the future holds. But we know what next year holds, and it will be Jauan Jennings back with the San Francisco 49ers, third and Jauan, ready to move the chains per usual. And again, after that stellar performance that he had in the Super Bowl, I think he's positioned himself to have a potentially impactful season this coming year. So looking forward to seeing what Jauan brings to the table. Let me know what you guys thought about all of this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.